Welcome back to Fox and Friends. First, ISIS taking credit for the bombing attacks in Brussels that left at least 34 people dead and more than 250 injured. How did the suspects evade the attention of the Belgian authorities long enough to commit the deadly acts? Let's ask Ryan Mauro. He is a security analyst at the Clarion Project, and he joins us once again with some more insight. So we do know some additional information that's come in that at least 3 of the Paris attackers were named on a list of 80 folks by Belgian authorities with suspected ties to terrorism. But yet they were still able to evade authorities.
And I'm not actually surprised at that for a few reasons. Number one, resources are limited, and that's true even in the United States, where the House Homeland Security had a report that came out that said that the radicalization of Americans is at an unprecedented height, that we've never experienced this before, and federal resources are just the brink. And so that's in the U.S. Imagine what now Belgium and Europe has to deal with. So it's very hard to keep track of everyone. And then also the fact that you have these hostile Muslim communities within Europe that may not necessarily support ISIS, but still reacts negatively to law enforcement when they come in. There were reports in the European press that when they arrested the one suspect in Brussels, that the police had like rocks being thrown at them.
Yeah, the community specifically known as Molenbeek, and that is where 2 of those brothers, Salah Abdeslam, who was captured on Friday, they grew up there.
So they have family ties, and so there's a little bit of a tribal mindset there where you may not support ISIS, but if you view the government as hostile and oppressive and they come in to arrest a member of your community, you're going to react as a single unit.
Yeah. They became aware of them in June. The Paris attack happened in November, and then 4 months later, they finally capture him. Could this happen here in the United States? Are there communities similar to what you're talking about here?
Definitely, because the ideology, the one part of radicalism that believes in separatism, that American culture is not for you, that's a threat to your faith and to your family, will result in radicals trying to buy private property, trying to live within their own community, and they may live in America but not become American by their identity. And there is a group named ul-Fuqra that for decades now has actually bought very large, in some cases 100-acre compounds, and the group is linked to terrorists.
And this is
historically.
In Texas.
Well, one of their villages is in Texas. That's just one of them. They say they have 22. Their headquarters is named Islamist in New York, but they get a lot of positive media coverage because although there's a lot of concern about this, then sometimes they get harassed and people threaten them, and so then they get sympathetic media coverage and comments from officials, and they end up looking like the good guys when they're not. They are rabidly anti-Semitic with a horrible history of terrorist violence.
Now, the FBI did issue a statement regarding this, and this was back in 2007, and I believe that we do have that. They say in their statement that the documented propensity for violence by this organization supports the belief that the leadership of the MOA extols membership to pursue a policy of jihad or holy war against individuals or groups it considers enemies of Islam.
Right, and MOA stands for Muslims of the Americas, which is what the name of Jamaat al-Fuqra is in the United States, because you don't want to go around saying my name's Jamaat al-Fuqra. So they changed their name to sound more pleasant, and that came from an intelligence report that was provided to me, that was produced by the FBI. And I was also given a tape, we don't know the date on it, but what you see on the screen right now is at their Islamist headquarters in Hancock, New York, the women getting guerrilla warfare training.
So why can't we go in and get them?
Because they're not designated as a foreign terrorist organization. So we've arrested some suspects engaged in criminal activity, but as a whole, you can't just go in and just start raiding their homes in these villages.
All right. Thank you so much, Ryan Mauro. Very interesting stuff. We appreciate it.